Today we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys on Hard Knocks, and it's four good things and four bad things. Plus, I'm gonna give you a bonus, so stay with us. Let's go. Well, everybody and their mama know by now that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be on Hard Knocks, and obviously, that's most people that are diehard fans hate it. And this actually was discussed slightly on the final word with Big Game James Lowe and myself and OC. And I just want y'all to check this out because this is how everything played out.
But hey, this is important too, and I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
This is as close as I can remember the Cowboys ever coming to just kind of sitting in the cut. Like, nobody's really talking about them. There's not any drama surrounding them. Like, I mean, we still got a month to go. Yeah, knock on that wood. But like, there's no crazy contract disputes. Nobody's in the news for the wrong reasons. And nobody's really like, there's not that much hype around the Cowboys right now, which is exactly where you want to be. So hopefully they can just keep this up for another month.
Right.
Ouch. Yeah, so that was actually last Tuesday. And that happened pretty quick, and we had a discussion about it. I went on Twitter because, obviously when the news was announced, he was one of the first people I thought about because of what he said. And so I obviously replied to him and I reached out. I said, Dave, we didn't knock on wood enough wood Tuesday on the point you made of a lack of distraction this offseason for the Cowboys. Hard Knocks announced 3 days later was almost too good to be true. Less than a month was left. And he replied, he said, man, if Hard Knocks is the biggest distraction they have to deal with, we should count ourselves lucky. You've been a fan long enough to know this is true. And he laughed at it. And yeah, he's right. Like, compared to the other stuff that we dealt with in Cowboy Nation, like the distraction of Dak and him having to play a whole season, not knowing whether he was going to be top paid or not, and that distraction, the Cowboy distraction with Zeke, it's, and from he's a glass half full on this one. I can stand it because I was loving the silence. Some of the stuff he said there's nothing sitting in the cut, nobody talking about him. Not any drama, no crazy contract dispute. Nobody's in the news for the wrong reason. Not that much around the Cowboys, which is exactly what you want. Dave said all of that. So now basically with Hard Knocks, you basically poured potential gas around all those concerns. With no Hard Knocks, we maybe could have just went all the way through the training camp. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into the 4 bad things and good things, and plus I'm gonna present to you bonus. Number 1, it is against the philosophy. This is the bad thing. The first bad thing is that Hard Knocks is against the obvious philosophy of Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, if you haven't been watching him closely, it's obvious that he's a smoke screen type of coach. He's a diversion coach. And some people say, boss, that's you just being paranoid. You used to Jason Garrett and all this kind of stuff. But no, you got to really, really, really watch Mike McCarthy. He's very, very sly. He's slick on how he goes about his affairs. Remember the blue and white scrimmage. It wasn't just the fact that he took off everybody's numbers because he didn't want any intel on the guys. But it was also the fact that he didn't allow one image of one play the entire blue and white scrimmage. So we can say on other things, oh no, the boss, you just being paranoid. It's not like that. Mike McCarthy, he's just different. No, it's against him. So he believes in the element of surprise, and that's obvious. So this Hard Knocks ideal is not going to be something that he's for. So that just goes with it. Then number two, the bad thing about Hard Knocks to the Dallas Cowboys, it overworks the coaches. So with his coaching staff, you got to know, when you know your leaders like that, that means they're going to have to do extra planning and preparation, where it should be all about trying to prepare for Tampa, preparing the team to get ready for Tampa, get ready for week one, getting everybody up to speed, just the same quiet offseason that David talked about. That's not there. So now all the coaches have to work overtime just to smoke screen the cameras. So you're not just planning on how am I going to get this guy up to speed, or get this player up to speed, or how am I going to get this coach up to speed, because they also train the coaches too. That's another conversation. Now you have to worry about the optics and what could be put out there, and that's why I called it gas around the entire situation. Number three, as a bad thing that Hard Knocks does to the Dallas Cowboys, it gives clues on the processes and thought that comes from this organization. I mean, a lot of people not intending to, for lack of a better word, slip, but you're going to likely slip. Likely you're going to slip, because you have to coach the guys. You have to evaluate the guys. Even if you try to plan a fake evaluation, you still a lot of times might be giving away subtle genius. That's number three. Number four, and this is the biggest one, cameras will flock to the biggest team risk, drama, and distractions. So people that we was hoping that would just go under the radar, that might have some, subtle things in the background, like Boss Man, right? They're going to be looking for him. They're going to be targeting him, because all media does best through drama. So they're going to be looking for it. And so it's no way around that now. So there are sometimes on certain teams, certain people you want to hide. You don't want certain people out in the public, and they're going to be going right at it. But there's some benefits. One of the benefits is that we get to see the leader of our team up close, Dak Prescott. It's been a lot of stories about him and his amazing job of being a great leader for the Dallas Cowboys. The benefit is that Hard Knocks is going to timestamp this for all of us to be able to actually observe him up close. I'm looking forward to that. Number two, we get to take a look under the total hood of Mike McCarthy. Now, when they did All or Nothing on the Jason Garrett, I actually wanted it because it seemed so dysfunctional that I wanted to really take a peek. But when it's a new car, why are you under the hood, right? You either a mechanic or you're nosy. So McCarthy is a new car. He's a new coach. So we really shouldn't be under the hood, but we get a chance to kind of get a closer look at him also, and that staff. And there's some question marks on some of those guys that I want to take a look at, some of those coaches, and we'll get through that on another video. Another thing about being able to look under the hood is the fact Brian Broaddus did a really, really good job of explaining that a lot of people go become actors in this process. If they're going to know the cameras on them, and they're going to go too far. They're going to do too much. I actually heard him on 105.3 The Fan do a great job of explaining. He was talking about one of the coaches who never talked to the scouts, and then all of a sudden he was talking to him, and he said, "You wearing a mic?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Man, get the F out of here." And he was just showing how people put on fronts for camera. That's just going to be baked into it. It's sad, but that's also being able to take a look under the hood, because Brian was no nonsense on that, and he called a guy out, which I really respect him for, because he was basically saying, be genuine to who you are. Let's not front. And I reached out to him. I said, "Brian, thank you for your raw truth today on 105.3 The Fan on the risk of Hard Knocks. Great perspective from experiencing it firsthand." And when we had, and he loved to comment. And when we have, people who actually experience Hard Knocks, and like Mike Fisher and Brian Broaddus, it's just in our best interest to kind of really tune in closely, lean in, because It's gonna be, a lot that's gonna come out from this. So it's already down the road. So we getting ready to look under the hood. It is what it is, but we're gonna be having to lean on those people like Mike Fish and Brian Broaddus, who's experienced this, to prepare us as a fan base for what's getting ready to happen. Number three is interesting because as a benefit, Mike McCarthy could also do what he does best, and he could use this as a diversion. And I mean that Mike McCarthy could really use this as a diversion, because anybody that watches his pattern, he usually shows the opposite of his intentions. So when he was going into the league with the Dallas Cowboys, coming back into the league, he was publicly signaling that we're going to stay in the 4-3. But what did he actually do? He came out in a 3-4 defense. So, looking at the bad idea of number 3, where we talked about it gives clues, where Mike McCarthy likely is going to put out, and if I was him, I would advise him, let's create some smoke for the cameras. Let's create looks for the cameras. Yes, that takes away from practice prep, but at the same time, this is kind of like what you got to do when all eyes are on you, because if you are $1 billion owner, you're not going to pay millions for some guys to actually scout and try to find the weaknesses of your opponent. So with all 32 teams, that's the case. So yes, it's going to be extra work on him, but he can actually make this work for him by putting out diversions out there that can put smoke screens for people that's watching us. Number 4. And this is the one that's important to me. This is Dallas's third hard knock. The beautiful thing about that is it being our third hard knock is the fact that we should be now more prepared. So that is a benefit. So when you first, have the cameras going through your locker rooms, going through and creating the stories, I'm pretty sure the Dallas Cowboys on certain stories felt like they got burned or something, or allowed too much or gave away too much. This is your third crack at it. So you should know how to defend your intel slightly better. So it's not as good, but it's also not as bad. And this is the bonus. And I promised you a bonus. And before I give out the bonus, make sure that y'all hit that like and subscribe on this video. We work very hard on Boss Cowboy Sports to bring y'all the latest and greatest information about the Dallas Cowboys and rumors and all kind of stuff. So please do that before we get out of here. Now, as the bonus is Dallas is actually doing a major favor for the NFL. It's clear that this is a favor to the NFL. Because they're leaning on the Dallas Cowboys to lead us back into high ratings coming out of a slower year of COVID. So the whole NFL is basically getting on the back of the Dallas Cowboys, from preseason early games to the number 1 game, us playing the Super Bowl champs, and obviously Hard Knocks. This is a play on ratings, and this is the league saying we need you. Now, Goodell, if you need us, kind of go talk to those refs and tell them to ease up on those flags a little bit, because you guys seem to be a little bit heavy-handed on the flag sometimes. But anyway, it's a good thing, and it's a good leverage tool as bonus to the Dallas Cowboys to be in a place you always want to be in, a position of strength, and the Dallas Cowboys clearly are. So once again, this is Boss Cowboy Sports. Thank y'all for watching, and make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the video.